What is up with it? Today we are back watching a little bit of Luigi Amato's Twitch. We're going to be watching some blue-black Usopp versus purple Luffy. I believe Luigi maybe topped London with this past weekend, or at least he came pretty close, like he bubbled out. But that group of Italians did take a kind of Sakazuki removal approach to Usopp, and we're going to be watching some of that. And as you see, yep, we've got a Rebecca, a Brooke, a Dressrosa Reducer guy, a Zoro, and a Tempest Kick. We are going to go ahead and take first and pass. We thought about cycling the Tempest Kick, but I believe we decided that it was going to be a little bit too important for us, as Pluffy does play some bigger bodies. We're going to go ahead and mill. So now the Pluffy is going to go ahead and swing 5. Considering on if we want to counter this or take it, we have to imagine that they are going to play a 5-drop here, which we should be able to pretty easily remove. And we found the stage, so now we don't have to tap our leader, which is huge. The stage card being arguably the most important card in the deck. And our opponent doesn't take the free block, because we're only swinging 4, so they don't have to. We're starting to build up that trash pretty decently. I believe we have, we should have at least 7 cards in there now. 6. Okay, we have 6 in there. So the Tempest Kick should be live here in the next 2 turns, I think, probably. We're going to go ahead and Zorojuro, we're going to go ahead and ramp and probably play a Onami. So missing our Luffy Taro here is actually going to be really, really detrimental to the Pluffy player. That Luffy Taro really carrying a lot of power in the Pluffy strategy. So now we're on 7 Dawn. 7 Dawn is kind of an awkward number for us. I'm not really seeing a great line. Yeah, because I believe this Solomon only minuses 2, which is not going to be good enough for a Rebecca Brooke combination. So we're going to go ahead and go 5. I have to imagine this is going to get countered. Okay, as it does by a Onami. You guys swing 6. You're just going to get blocked, and then we'll just go ahead and go Solomon, Frankie. Frankie can potentially block and bring back something this upcoming turn. And this is just a little scary. Us, as the Usopp player, we are unbelievably starved here. We just have like no cards. Meanwhile, our opponent has a lot of cards. I have to imagine we're going to be putting the Frankie into life. Oh no, we're just putting the Zoro. I don't know. I feel like we're going to let the opponent eventually get a lot of value off of this Frankie block. I feel like I probably would have put the Frankie into life. But maybe our opponent knows they have a very, very limited number of 2Ks coming up. Yeah, letting us block here to bring back the Soulman is just really going to let us get a big turn here. Is there ever a way where we could remove both? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm not seeing a line for a double clear here. I'm really interested in seeing what he does. Okay, we're going to go ahead and swing 4, minusing the Lin. Have to imagine that is going to resolve. Oh, excuse me. So these Tempest Kicks are now live. We can go ahead and use one now if we'd like to. Oh my god, we are definitely finding our Rebecca's, which obviously I have as the best single card in the game. We're also finding our Tempest Kicks. Wow, this is crazy. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and swing 8 at the Zoro. And just like that, with a couple, you know, with the Frankie bringing something back, drawing something off of leader effect, Rebecca essentially drawing us a card. We don't look so starved anymore, you know? Last turn we had like 3 cards in hand and not very much on board, and now all of a sudden we have like a pretty reasonable board and a pretty healthy hand. So shows you just the power of being a blue-black deck. You can kind of generate cards in a way a lot of other decks can't, right? Like blue has a little bit more card draw, which we're seeing in the Usopp leader effect, and then black being able to generate cards from the grave, which we're seeing from the Rebecca. Able to go a little plus on card advantage, and not only going plus on card advantage, but also removing the opponent's board at the same time. Really showing you the strength of that blue-black color combination. I have to imagine this is going to be a 6 at either the Brook or the Solomon. Never mind, it's going to be 6 at life. I have to imagine we just simply cannot. Oh, wow, we are good. Double 1K. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So letting both the Solomons and the Brook live, just kind of accepting that, hey, if my opponent wants to KO my stuff, he can. I don't care. Which is an interesting approach from She-Look. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and Zoro, and then we'll be able to, because we have the stage, swing 8 at the other Zoro, and then we'll go 7 at Zoro. I'm not sure this was my favorite line. If we go back, didn't we have this down to... We had this down to 0. So we could have just KO'd this with Brook and then KO'd this with Zoro. I mean, yes, we do have to put the Brook sideways, but like we get to go... Really what we should have done. This is what we should have done. I'm going to rewind. I don't rewind too often. But we can just minus this by 3 with Tempest Kick. And we can minus this by 4 with these, right? And what we do is we play the Zoro. We pop this. So first action is we Tempest Kick. We minus this. We Zoro, we pop. Then we swing at this with the Zoro for 8. He probably counters. Or we just swing 6. It doesn't really matter which one. Maybe we just swing 6, honestly. We swing 6, then we go 5, 5. How much Dawn do we have? So that we used 5 Dawn. We go 5, 5, 5, 6, pop. No, 5, 5, 5, 5, pop. Yeah, that would have been a nasty line. I mean, this line ends up in like a nearly similar place, but that line would have been a really nasty with the double clear, and we swung 5 times, right? We like our first action basically is like swinging 6 at 6, and he's gonna counter, probably. Yeah, that would have ended up way better. Way better. Like our opponent got to keep this Zoro for no reason. And then there's my favorite card in the game that I have never queued into a tournament with, Houndblaze. Yeah, this deck's looking pretty shiced. I'm not gonna lie, this deck is looking kind of shiced. I think it's possible this deck gets a little bit more popular this coming weekend. I will say I'm not unbelievably convinced that it's that good. I think Luigi drew kind of insane this game with triple Rebecca and finding like maybe literally quad Tempest Kick, and like while also finding the Brook and like these Solomons. Like I think he drew kind of nuts. But I do think this deck isn't bad. But I have spoken with some people who have tried really hard to make it work, that like they aren't real believers in it. And these are some really high level players, so I'm not entirely convinced that this deck is that good, but maybe it's not bad. It's definitely, I mean, it's definitively not bad, but like the E Quinby Pluffy is not bad, you know? But that was a fun watch. I might honestly play this on stream after Peoria. Probably not. Deck's kind of maybe too fake. Or it's real. Maybe they'll crack it. I don't know. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.